Right, a shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors unto the apostles and elders, the great millstone, who I learned the truth from. I want to say peace, mercy, and blessings unto all the hopeful elect. The name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, that means he exists. The name of the Son is Yahweh Shai, that means he's salvation. All right, and we are the Hebrew Israelites. There's 12 tribes, not just one. Today we're being called as bywords and proverbs. So they call us Black, Native American, Seminole Indian, Latin, Hispanic, Haitian, Jamaican, West Indian. All right, but we're those people that make up the lost 12 tribes of Israel. The self-proclaimed white man, Caucasian, according to the Bible, is Esau, Edom, Idumea, right? And according to Bible prophecy, he is the end of the world, right? And the second coming would happen during his kingdom or his empire. And next year, 2026, will be the 250 year of this man's empire, you know, lasting on the earth. But we can see that it's in. Everybody in it, can see that this is the end of Babylon, right? So I got this video from Dabu77. It says the well has run dry. USDA warns SNAP benefits will expire for 42 million people. State of emergency. So before I play that, I'll bring out this precept. This is from Second Esdras chapter 16. No, that's not 16. Second Esdras 16 and verse 17, right? It says, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? Because that's how the prophet Esdras was feeling when he saw the things that would happen in the vision, the things that were to come in the future, you know. 18, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death. And that's where we at. Okay. People losing their snap. It's not just gonna be in America, Babylon the Great, but it's gonna be very bad here because that's the Lord's judgment on this place. Right? It says the beginning of wars, and that goes into Egyptian against Egyptian, which is civil war. The third war that coming quickly, World War III, you know, martial law, sedition among men, right? And the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? To look up evil, it's a compound word, Eve meaning a time, and ill meaning bad, so that's what's coming, the beginning of bad times, right? Behold, famine and plague and tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for women. That means correction. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness. But people are not going to stop being wicked. You know, they're going to become more wicked. Nor be always mindful of the scourges. You know,
The Dabu 7, we got the USDA now saying that SNAP and its benefits are going to expire for some 42 million people if this shutdown persists, and it looks like it's going to. We've got
the last time there was a shutdown was under Trump's term. Which is the cruel Lord when you read Isaiah 19, right? This is from USAtoday.com. No stranger to shutdowns. It look at the cruel Lord's history with government closures, right? A shuttered government is familiar territory to the cruel Lord, whose first time saw 3 shutdowns, including a 35-day closure. Spanning the end of 2018 into early 2019, it remains the longest in U.S. history. So we don't know how long this shutdown is going to last, but we do know the last time this man is in office, there was a 35-day shutdown. Okay, so this ain't nothing new. to the cruel Lord, saying his first rodeo.
Governor of Virginia declaring an emergency now over this whole thing. The loss of SNAP benefits. And it looks like they're also saying that the emergency use funds that some are saying that they could use and tap into cannot be used here in this instance. They're saying that if states want to step up and give people some money, that it will not be reimbursed.
That's gonna put a lot of pressure on food banks, churches, things of that nature. So, which you already have people that work full-time jobs, 40, 60 hours a week, maybe more, and they have to hit food banks weekly. So imagine these people who are not getting SNAP and everybody's rushing to the food banks, you know?
They're saying because of law, there's no legality on a way to pay it back, which all seems super suspect to me. It seems like a setup to me at this point. We've already seen all kinds of people taking to social media threatening to hit the streets and to just walk out of stores with their groceries in mass.
They might let they might let a lot of you people get away with that for, a little while because they have something called auto KO. Auto up KO is a Latin phrase that translates to order out of chaos. All right, because it's not like they don't have the money; they're sending it overseas. They're sending it to other countries, right? Just read the comments. I was looking at some of these comments here. It says, funny, the shutdown hasn't stopped welfare to Argentina, Ukraine, and blank. You can't say nothing about them. It says, when you depend on the government to feed you, you give them power to control when you eat, right? Jump down. Getting Babylon ready for Agenda 2030, right? It says, stores are going to lock their doors rather than allow people to rob them blind, right? Welcome to the 2025 Hunger Games. So it's not like they don't have it. They're sending it overseas to other countries. This is creating a scenario of chaos so they could come with their form of order. Because going back to this other comment, right? It says, yep, it says they want people stealing food so the cruel Lord can bring martial law. So they allow some chaos in order to get the outcome or the order that they want, and that's pretty much what it's about.
There's all kinds of people saying this. So by the first, they expect all this to go into motion, and this affects a lot. This affects all the dollar stores, all the grocery markets, everything around, everything in town. And if people go in there and just rob them, well, they won't last for much longer. They won't be there for much longer to even go and rob for those people. So they will destroy the ecosystem around them, potentially, if this gets out of hand.
That's another thing, because what our people do with the riots and looting and shit, they go and they destroy the stores in their own community, and that's going to create a food desert. It says an urban area in which it's difficult to buy affordable or good quality fresh food, which we're already in the fucking food desert. If you have to live in an area, so-called inner city, right? Because think about it, all we have is what corner stores and gas stations. They don't have any quality fresh food there. If you want that type of produce, you have to go out to where Esau lives. You gotta drive like 15, 20 minutes away, you know? So when this happens, it's gonna create even the stores that are in the areas where Jake are, the food there is never the best and it's always overpriced, you know?
Not sure when this is going to end, but they're saying right now on Polymarket, the odds of a shutdown now being finished are in the single digits here by Democrats and Republicans.
So that shows you it's being done by design. So they trying to get a reaction out of people and you people falling right into the trap, hitting social media talking about what you're gonna do, how you're gonna steal. They're ready for that, you know?
Not seeing eye to eye, and they're saying that it's only at 15% probability that they end this between November 12th and the 15th. Will it be over by Thanksgiving? I don't know, but we
You
got
don't know. But right now, it looks like a lot of people they may be they're gonna skip meals. You know, most are gonna have you people skip meals. Most and you know, if you look at the carts when you go to the store, you can tell who gets EBT, right? Eat better tonight. But you people aren't using that to eat better. This cart is full of sugar, Pop Tarts, ice cream, and crabs and shrimp and bullshit every month. You know, so the Lord is tired of that. This is Leviticus 26 and verse 26. I will cut off your food supply so that 10 women will need only one oven to bake all the bread that they have. Okay, so read that again. I will cut off your food supply. That's what's happening. Vinces is failing. So that 10 women will need only one oven to bake all the bread that they have. So that's extreme uh um food supply cut, rationing. You know, they will ration it out, and when you have eaten it all, you will still be hungry, meaning what people gonna eat and not be satisfied. Right? All that abundance of wasting food, that shit's gonna stop.
air traffic controllers also affected. A lot of stuff affected by this. And if they're not there, this is going to make flying and travel around Thanksgiving chaotic as well.
It
Shutdown
says that too.
persists, and it looks
Damn, I didn't mean to do that. But it says the man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. So this shutdown is affecting everything. There still is a lot of government workers that are not being paid. So what are they gonna do? They're gonna be angry, you know. So you can expect people to start hitting the streets again, protesting No King's Day. And remember the last time they did it, cruel Lord responded with a video of him dropping sludge or shit on them, you know?
by Thanksgiving. I don't know, but we got air traffic controllers also affected. A lot of stuff affected by this. And if they're not there, this is going to make flying and travel around Thanksgiving chaotic as well.
Yeah. Man shall desire to go to a city and shall not be able. Of course, it's gonna get worse, but this is how it starts, you know?
Join me for the live streams going live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, talking about this in greater detail in a whole.
If you live in the United States, take 2 minutes to listen to this. You need to make a plan with your family, with people you care about, friends, anyone possible, because things are about to get a lot worse. Um, a shorthand list is in 2026, health insurance is tripling. One lady said her premium is going from 200.
That shit is already unaffordable now. They have you paying all this money a month weekly, then it adds up to a monthly outrageous fucking number. Then you have to go to the doctor. You still have to pay out of pocket the deductible, you know, that you can't afford to pay. Then you can't pay it, that shit goes on your credit. So it's all a setup, man. You know, to keep you in poverty, keep you stressed out, you know.
$9 to 709 every 2 weeks for a family of crippling. One lady said her premium is going from $209 to $709 every 2 weeks for a family of four. That's impossible for her to pay. They're not going to have health insurance.
A lot
Um,
of people not gonna have health insurance. And that's why, you know, all praise Yahweh Shem El Shai, you know, the Lord, you know, the Wadi Yahweh Shem El Shai, the Lord showed us about the herbs and take care of our bodies and to get into the natural medicines, you know. This is Sirach 38 and verse 4 says the Lord Yahweh Shem El Shai had created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise would not abhor them. So to a degree, we don't, you know, not trying to go to Esau's damn fucking hospital unless we actually absolutely have to, you know.
on top of that, 42 million people are being kicked off of their food stamps come November. That affects
People are already bugging out over that. Ain't nothing even happened. And they're not talking about repenting or serving the Lord. They're talking about hitting the stores and stealing, because that's a, a transgression against the law. So that's sin. The scripture says, all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, you know? This is the book of Amos, chapter 8 and verse 11. Behold, the days come, said Yahweh Shemel Shad, that, oh no, that's not the one I wanted. I think that's one. Well, that's spiritual too, because they got a famine coming, but the worst famine is going to be the famine of the word, you know? Amos 9 and 10, it says, all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. So don't be surprised if you have niggas out there stealing and they start getting shot down and shit. That's the judgment of the Lord, because you shouldn't be out there stealing anyway, you know?
every single person in the country, and that means all of our grocery stores are losing $9 billion, meaning prices go up for everyone. Groceries are already unaffordable. On top of that, with the big beautiful bill, a lot of people are losing access to healthcare, which also means rural hospitals are going to have to close, a lot of them, and our hospitals are already short-staffed. Nurses are exhausted and spread wide and thin. Things are about to get really bad, and
Yeah, yep. That's exactly what the scriptures say. So if you think this is only the beginning, if you think shit is bad now, it's going to get worse. This is Ezekiel chapter 2, and this is the Good News Translation. Jump down to verse not 8. It says, mortal man, listen to what I tell you. Don't be rebellious like them. Open your mouth and eat what I'm going to give you. Speaking about the Bible, the scriptures, because the Lord told Ezekiel to eat the roll, then go and teach the house of Israel, right? Meaning study it, digest to get the understanding of it, then go and teach the people, you know? 9, I saw a hand reaching out toward me, and it was holding a scroll. The hand unrolled the scroll, and I saw that there was writing on both sides. Cries of grief were written there, and wails and groans. And that's what's about to fill the streets of Babylon. Cries of grief, wails, and groans.
don't think anyone is prepared for what is about to come. This is a warning.
And you could do all the prepping you want. The scripture says they shall cast them out of the house and take away their goods. So you need Yahweh Shem Shai with you. It says the angel of the Lord encamp round about them that fear him and deliver them. You know,
And sadness, heartbreak almost, to see the direction of what's happening. And like, a lot of us knew this would happen. Like, a lot of us knew by just looking at the policies that all of this would go into effect. But seeing it affect real people in the day to day is absolutely horrific. I can't put into words. People are going to die. Like, a lot of people.
exactly.
I can't put into words. People are going to die. Like, a lot of people.
And that's what they want. Really, that's what Yahweh Shem Shai wants. But Esau thinks it's according to his plan, But he's just the sword that the Most High is using. The second Ezra 16 and 18, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Well, that's why you're supposed to seek the Lord while he may be found, because there is a famine of the word coming, to where you won't be able to get, you know, scriptures, understand it, and, digest it, or see your teachers and ask them questions. This is Isaiah 55 and verse 6. Seek ye Yahweh Bashem El Shai while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. That implies a time where you won't be able to be found, right? Because the Lord's going to make, the tongue of the prophets cleave to their mouth. This is Ezekiel 3:26. Says, and I will make thy tongue cleave to the roof of thy mouth, that thou shalt be dumb, and thou shalt not be to them a reprover, for they are a rebellious house. So it's going to come a time to where the Lord's going to, shut the mouths of the prophets. So you want me to get the answers to your questions, you know? Isaiah 55:7. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. Let him return unto Yahweh the Shai, and he will have mercy upon him, and to our power, for he will abundantly pardon. Right? And that's what we're fighting for, to be pardoned, to have the sure mercies of David. Because there is going to be come a time where there's going to be mass deaths, you know? And Psalms 91 said 1,000 at this side and 10,000 at the other side.
And the effects are irreversible in ways that we can't even talk about. And this doesn't even include the fact that, first of all, our maternal mortality has already started to raise because of all of the abortion laws. Because a lot of women have lost access to reproductive care. A lot of gynos are moving out of certain states, meaning women in those states are losing access to reproductive care. And this doesn't include what's going on with ICE and what's going on with the National Guard and military being deployed to cities.
Right. Can't forget about that, where this kind of like became the top news, people losing their snap. But ICE is still grabbing people up. People still missing, you know?
Or how it's been found that over 170 citizens have been detained and abused in immigration centers. The list is so long.
This is the beginning stages of Jacob's trouble. Jacob is talking
I
about
want to be
the tribes, so-called black and brown people.
hopeful, and it's one of the things that I feel I will always keep. But things are about to get really bad. And this is a warning to everyone to plan.
The Lord been had his prophets, apostles and elders. They've been giving out that warning for years, you know.
Stamps for November. What did you do with October's food stamp money? What'd you do? Did you stock up on pantry items and try to?
Because they are people, and that they're not in the spirit to do that, and not like that's gonna save you anyway. But it'd be a lot wiser than having a cart full of bullshit and then they run through that food. They get the stamps of maybe the first or the seventh. By the end of the month, there's nothing in the house. You know,
Shop smartly? Or did you just go buy a bunch of processed garbage? By the way, you can thank the Democrats for the government being shut down and your benefits not coming through for November.
Democrat, Republicans, the same shit. It's two different wings of the same bird. They're acting like they're against each other. You know,
Looks like you're going to be going to the food pantry for your Thanksgiving meal.
food pantry's gonna be exhausted. They're not gonna have enough food for everybody. You know, this is 2nd Esdras 15 and verse 17. Says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, meaning travel, right? Because they actually want people stuck or trapped in or locked in 15-minute cities, you know, with the illusion of freedom that you can do what you want, you know, or where, a pestilence, they had to take out the bread. It showed you on Legend, there's many scenarios of how this could play out. 18, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. And that's with poverty, famine, pestilence, drug abuse, crime, ICE, Egyptian against Egyptian, martial law. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid, right? Because it's going to be a terrible time, very terrible time. At 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, right? But shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods, meaning they're going to take everything they got. People, you're going to see the real nature of people, when they can't eat, when they can't feed themselves or their children, you know, because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So much that some people are going to bug out and start eating others, you know. Watch that movie, The Road.
I know a lot of food pantries hand out turkeys for Thanksgiving. All the sides and trimmings too. Lots of food pantries. You better figure it out. I'm sick of hearing you complain, honestly. You ever have this as a meal? I'm eating peanut butter and butter on toast. It's absolutely delicious. You should try it. And not for nothing, I saw this woman that said she was getting $1,100 a month in food stamps.
And you see, and you might think that's a lot of money, but the majority of people on EBT food stamps, whatever you want to call it, it's Esau. And they get twice as much as what Jake get. You just don't hear them. They smarter, but they don't hear them crying online about this shit. Sometimes they do, now because the curses can be put on them. Then you say, damn, they're getting twice as much as the N dub will get, the nigga woman will get, because the Israelite man don't really get none of these benefits. Section 8, SNAP, and the Israelite man's actually paying into it through child support. Title 4D program. That's what that's all about.
You know how long I can make $1,100 in food stamps last in this house? There's two of us, but I do have my son over every once in a while, or my daughters over once in a while to eat. I feed them too, and we always got food in our house, no matter what. I would take a third job. I have two jobs. I would take a third job if I had to, just to make sure my kids ate. What are you doing for your kids besides coming on the internet and bitching that you don't have any money in your food stamps account?
This is a fucking memorial, people, they think everything's a joke. Rest in peace, EBT, you know. And on top of that, Mr. People losing SNAP, healthcare, the government shutdown, people not being paid. There's still massive job loss going on due to AI.
Latest move in a multi-year effort to streamline operations. It's going to lay off about 14,000 corporate employees as it restructures for the AI era, marking the latest move in a multi-year effort to streamline operations and shift resources toward its biggest bets, including generative AI. Now, in a blog post, Amazon's HR chief, Beth Galetti, said that the cuts are aimed at reducing layers and bureaucracy so that
I saw another article that said 30,000, but that was corporate. So I don't know if this is separate and it's, actually about up to 50,000. That's still a lot of people getting out,
He can move faster. She called AI the most transformative technology since the internet and said Amazon needs to be leaner to keep pace. The company has about 350,000 corporate employees, meaning that the confirmed cuts affect roughly 4% of that workforce. But what I will say is that those layoffs are expected to become the largest corporate job cuts in Amazon's history. Reuters reporting the total could go as high as 30,000. And the company—
This may be the same article.
Did signal this morning that more layoffs are likely in the year ahead, even as it continues hiring in key strategic areas. It was also just this June that CEO Andy Jassy warned AI adoption would lead to fewer roles in some parts of the business. So
This is from Ecclesiastes 12. This is KJV. Says, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure, right? The Lord wants you to seek him young. You look at Yahushua, he's 12, they found him. He told them he's about his father's business. Jeremiah was young. A lot about people, what they think they're going to do is live a life of wickedness and sin, and then they could just accept Jesus in their heart. On their deathbed, they're going to get a rude awakening. That's why the scripture says, slay utterly old and young. 2, while the sun and the light of the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men bow themselves, and the grinders cease. That goes into military, stock market, people who look at, the price of gold and silver, which that's going up, and that shows you that your dollar is constantly losing its value, and going back to Esau's military, it says the mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. So no matter how, try to trim the fat off the military, the Lord's still gonna put a spirit of cowardice and fear in them, and the grinders cease because there are few that's going to these workers for jobs. And those that look out the windows will be darkened. That's why a lot of people are making plans to leave this country. You have people that are living out their vehicle, and they're just saving up to leave because it's getting so bad here, which is a wise decision because we know the judgment of Babylon is going to be nuked, you know. 4, and the doors shall be shut in the streets. That goes, have bank runs, bank closures, supermarkets shutting down, schools, all type of shit going to be shut down. These jobs, when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird. Meaning what? People ain't going to have a reason to set an alarm, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low, you know. I think this is, it says, mark my words, the government shutdown is permanent. Benefit programs will not exist after November. People will start rioting, stealing, and make it dangerous to go to the store. Yo, I'm on the phone. Give me 1 second. It says come back, and I'm on the phone. It says come back in a month. It says mark my words, the government shutdown is permanent. Benefit programs will not exist after November. People will start rioting, stealing, and looting. This will make it dangerous to go to the store. Come back in a month when I write, so I can say I told you so. Which we'll see what happens. But we know according to the scriptures, great judgment is coming here. This is Ezekiel chapter 7 and verse 1. It says, moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, also thou son of man, thus said Yahweh Shem Shai power unto the land of Israel, and the end is come upon the 4 corners of the land. Now is the end come upon thee. Now will send my anger upon thee, and will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense upon thee all thine abominations. And mine eyes shall not spare thee, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense thy ways upon thee, and thine abomination shall be in the midst of thee. He shall know that I am the Lord. Verse 5. Thus said the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, and evil, only evil, behold, is come, and evil is come, the end is come, and watch it for thee. Behold, it is come. Right? And that's exactly what's coming, man. The Most High is bringing the end. It's going to be nothing but evils. But yeah, I think there's one that says that in Wisdom of Solomon. This is Wisdom of Solomon 3, verse 19. For horrible is the end of the unrighteous generation, because this is the beginning of the plague. It's going to get worse and worse until the nukes hit and people fucking take the chip and it's burning in the nukes, But with that, I'm going to end it. Just a quick lesson. Pray this has been edifying. want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Say shalom to the hopeful elect. You know.